ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this very early session of the last day of the Delphi Economic Forum on defense innovation and the very challenging road that lies ahead. I'm very glad to see you all here at this very early hour. And first of all, let me express my gratitude on behalf of the National Center for Scientific Research, Demokritos, to the Delphi Economic Forum for including us as programming partners this year as well. It's a great honor for us. I am George Nounesis. I'm the director of Demokritos, and I'm also an advisor at EY on emerging technologies and defense. And defense innovation, security, these are buzzing words. I think all these 4 days we've been hearing these things in many panels. Apparently today the sessions in this room will be dedicated exactly to these topics. And things are going to become very interesting in the next few years. Only yesterday, the new chairman of the Chiefs of Staff, the Joint Chief of Staff in the United States, he was confirmed, John Kane. In his biography, he describes himself as a serial entrepreneur for technology and a venture capitalist. And he is going to lead the Joint Armed Forces of the United States. So things certainly are going to be very, very interesting, and this is going to be a very interesting panel. It's a crowded panel, but that's exactly what defense innovation is all about. It's complexity, many stakeholders, many players involved, and there has to be quite a synchronization to get things going and get incredibly good results. Government is represented in this panel. The Secretary General of Telecommunications and Posts, Konstantinos Karantzalos, also a professor at the National Technical University of Athens. And the brand new organization for Greece, the Hellenic Center for Defense Innovation, Takis Papageorgiou, an executive member of the board. He is also represented. They are going to manage innovation in Greece, defense innovation in Greece, and they are going to link the country with what's happening in NATO and the European Union. We have Stefan Hefter, a senior advisor, senior partner at KPMG for Germany and Europe, senior partner in defense. That will bring the opinion of a big consulting firm on what's going to happen with Rearm Europe and everything that's been announced these days. Nikolaos Papatsas, he is a senior partner at EFA and also a vice president of HASDIG. This is an association of Greek companies in defense, and it's good to hear how they feel and how they are ready to grab opportunities and move ahead in the next few years. And Nasos Pittaras from Qualco Group. Now, this is a company that is debating, I would say, about defense these days, and this is what dual use is all about. And there is a lot of talk about dual use in defense innovation. And of course, Dimitrios Kottas from Delian. Apparently, maybe everything is happening for you and your endeavors and your efforts to succeed in as a startup in defense and dual use. So many attitudes, many opinions, different perspectives, and hopefully we will have some time so that all of you guys can express yourselves. Please, because we are quite a few here on this panel, try to be focused on exactly the major things you want to say. So I will start with Takis Papageorgiou from the Hellenic Center for Defense Innovation. Takis, I was last weekend, I was in London at the Diana headquarters. Diana is the Defense Innovation Accelerators for the North Atlantic. And I was summoned there to participate in an international workshop from which the new challenges of Diana are going to emerge. And indeed, there were incredible things there. New mechanical intelligence for robots, incredible corporation, new startups on the internet of logistics and how this can apply to research and space. My gosh, I mean, there's so many things happening in space technology these days. So less than a year old, the Hellenic Center, less than a year old ELKAK, and you have already gone ahead. You have the first challenges, and also you provided us already with a list of the challenges coming up. This is, in my opinion, a success. This is not very commonly seen in Greece, and I want to congratulate you for that. So tell us how you feel and what are your actions.
Right, thank you very much, George. I'll try to be short and crisp on what the Hellenic Center for Defense Innovation does in the first place. Introducing ourselves, we're just entering the 10th month of our operational activity, so you're very correct. We had a target, and the aim is to be the hub for Greece defense and dual-use technologies in order to foster the dual-use community and like companies exist here on the panel, and also offer the prosperity of the Greek economy through improving the defense economy. Indeed, there is an ecosystem in Greece, and HCDI, ELKAK, as we may know, cooperates with this, which is startups, universities, research centers, funding mechanisms, the industry, the existing industry. There is an industry in Greece. Surprise, surprise to the people abroad. And what we did, yes, we had the opportunity to very quickly describe the needs together with the Ministry of Defense, because we are supervised by the Ministry of Defense. Actually, the 67% of our equity belongs to the Ministry of Defense, and the other 33% belongs to the Growth Fund. And we sat together and we built the Strategic Operational Research and Development Military Needs Plan. So this has been evolved into 22 calls that have been described for the rest of the year 2025. And we had the internal luxury, by working night and day, to air 6 calls now. I mean, 4 calls that are already in the air, RFPs, something trying to fuel something like 39 million to the Greek economy, involving the Greek industry and the Greek startup and the research center. So our part of the game is, yes, to work together, trying to focus on the same ends and means and ways that NATO, Diana, also wants to prosper on a transatlantic cooperation. And the main point is to end up with fast procurement. And the second thing is, what you want to do is you want to invest on how you create money into capabilities. And Diana Accelerator exactly is doing this thing. So focusing on rapid adoption, fast procurement, dual use, fantastic cooperations in Greece. We do have the potential, you know it very best, okay, very well. So this is what we do. Thank you.
And we'll come back to rapid adoption, because this is one major issue when it comes to defense innovation. I should also mention that you also represent Greece at the board of directors of NIF, the NATO Innovation Fund. I mean, this is the big historical change in NATO becoming a venture capitalist, such an institutional organization. And this is exactly what we've been seeing the last maybe 10, 20 years. It is a growing market of suppliers and buyers, and it seems like buyers all over the world, buyers around defense systems, they don't look anymore at conventional technologies. They care very much to find out what's been offered in non-conventional players, in startups. And it seems this is growing incredibly fast. We had scale-ups the last 10, 15 years that have been amazing, and unicorns have been created out of this tsunami in growth. Let me mention SpaceX and Anduril and Palantir. These are all companies, technology companies that emerge exactly because of this demand around the world for non-conventional technologies, new technologies that can give supremacy, that can give the cutting edge in a defense system. So I am going to ask you now, Stefan Hefter. We have all these activities going on, and now institutional players have come in the game, NATO, with the NATO Innovation Fund, EU already, the European Investment Bank has announced that they're going to be funding defense and dual-use technologies. Rearm Europe was announced. How is KPMG response to all these international trends? How are you consulting your clients with all this cosmogony happening?
Yes, thank you. First of all, thank you for inviting me here to this distinguished conference. I think defense innovation is a little bit in distress, and I've implemented 2 innovation labs. I've done countless projects on innovation, but there are problems ahead. But first of all, why do we need defense innovation? We recently have done a study for the European Defense Agency on emerging trends in the Ukraine. And we have identified 6 innovative trends. So 3D printing has come up, unmanned vehicles, innovative software that's deployed at speed, data cloud and connectivity, cyber defense and AI. And if you take a look on the other hand, if you use in Ukraine an electromagnetically emitting system, it's degraded 60% after 3 months. So innovation is direly needed, but, and that is something where we think we can help, is General Pittaras yesterday said that the procurement system is broken. It is very easy first to have a lean process to bring functional results very fast. That is done in innovation labs like Diana, like probably the one here, and so on. So it's very easy to create very good results very fast. And I say it's a little bit tempting to do that. It's temptingly easy to create innovative things. But then comes something that not me, but somebody from DG Defis called the valley of death of innovation. Now funding is hard to get. And you must get from an innovation hub, an innovation center, to full-scale military procurement. And let's be honest, military procurement is going down Nightmare Avenue. You have to consider non-functional aspects like military IT security, try to accredit the system there. Scalability, now it has to run not only for 50, but for 50,000 people. Maintainability, interoperability. So we really need to find a way to help companies survive this valley of death. And probably one thing that will come is the European Defense Agency will publish in the next couple of weeks a paper on a blueprint for investment based on our research on access to finance, where they say that that's the first positive statement that you can invest in defense. So far, we have a broad lack of statements on investment in defense, and there we will have a statement, yes, it's really good, and these are the guidelines to invest in defense.
Well, thank you. It was mentioned before that, of course, we have a defense industry in Greece, and I think Nikos Papatsas is rightly here for that exact reason. EFA is doing great. Theon Technologies, I think, it's a company, a technology-based company that has a global impact right now. So, Nikos, you're hearing this. You're Rearm Europe, EDA, big plans, European Defense Fund, big programs. Do you care for this, or you just have your technology, you invest in research, and you move on as strongly as you did in the past? And of course, if you please can convey to this panel, what's the attitude in Greece in general, since you are representing also HASDIG, the association of these defense industries of Greece.
Thank you very much. First of all, we as a group, we continue to invest in new technologies. We're doing several things, as you know, aside from Theon Sensors that is doing things on the sensor side. We're doing a lot of things on software, on drones, and we're looking, of course, into right now adapting cybersecurity technologies and also artificial intelligence. You know, the industry and what we call today disruptive technologies is moving very heavily into investing in what we will call new capabilities in order to enhance defense capabilities, and then deterrence and, of course, innovation is part of all this chain. I think if we look at the spectrum of those technologies, artificial intelligence, of course, is one of the most important ones, and the machine learning, as we call it, as we try to put capabilities that will enhance the way decision makers make decisions either in the battlefield or in peacetime. Of course, we have a lot of autonomous systems and robotics. I think we've seen, the last few years, we've seen the advent of the UAS systems, that means in the air, but I think there is a lot of space to improve in the land and in the undersea, sea or undersea. We have not seen a lot of innovation there yet, but I'm sure this is another area where technologies are being invested. Of course, cybersecurity and cyber warfare. This is very, very critical technology, not only for defense, but also for peacetime. We know that at most of the commercial activities, whether we call banking, whether we call electrical power, whether we call areas that can disrupt the economy, are really substantial in cybersecurity and cyber warfare. There are some new areas as well. Maybe some of us have not heard, but this is where technologies are progressing. Quantum technologies, they are very, very important for communications and for quantum computing, as we call it, which is code breaking, or especially for satellite systems, that they are very, very important for navigation and GPS denial and similar technologies. And of course, we've seen lately some new other technologies, the directed energy weapons. I think this is going to bring a new field in defense. We see that laser systems are becoming more powerful and more useful, and they're going to create also savings in the battlefield because it's easier to use and with less logistic support. And then, obviously, there's two more areas. Hypersonic weapons, we see them for the first time in the battlefield, and maybe today's existing defense systems cannot deal with them, air defense systems. And also, the last one that we know is space. Space has become very critical. I always say that if we look at the war what happened in Ukraine, if it wasn't for a commercial provider, Starlink, probably there would be no communications for the Ukrainians to fight the war. But space has other challenges. We need to look at how the satellite protection, satellite warfare,
which are... Why we have the Secretary General here. I mean,
exactly. Some of this, so space is a very, very important...
How about the challenges of the Hellenic, of ELKAK? How is the local ecosystem responding to these challenges?
Look, the local ecosystem is activated not only in Greece, but in the entire Europe and the entire world. There are some challenges to all that. First of all, we have new companies with very innovative ideas, and the adoption of these ideas is very, very critical in these technologies that we're talking about. Actually, the commercial world always was the one that inserted technologies, at least the last decade, into the systems that we use today in defense. So the local system and the local academic community is really the foundation for all that, fueling the adoption of these technologies. I must say that it's very, very critical to have two issues with that. The first one is not to duplicate innovation. And I think right now the European policy is not very clear how countries invest in this area and not to waste resources in duplicating efforts. So I don't see right now a path that is, let's say, that is organized from a European perspective on how this innovation is spread across the region. But on the other hand, I believe that the faster pace that the smaller companies or the innovative companies can develop technology is a positive side of things. In the end, I think Greece has a good ecosystem. The academic communities and the smaller companies are energized right now. ELKAK is obviously fueling the space, and this is good. And I believe that it will become very, very good for the economy and the technology base in Greece to have a healthy ecosystem to support defense activities.
Thank you very much. And I move to Qualco and Athanasios, Pittaras. I mean, I know you guys, we've been collaborating, you are sponsoring a very good for Demokritos also program on industrial fellowships. You are investing in research, you are investing in innovation. And then all of a sudden, I hear that you win an award from ELKAK on dual-use applications of your technology. So this is all about. This is what's happening. Industries, corporations are starting to look into defense with a lot of interest.
Thank you, George. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about what we're thinking about defense at Qualco. So I'm heading the Center for Applied Research and Technology there. And it's very interesting for us because, you know, the people that know us, and we keep a very low profile, they know us as a fintech.
Exactly.
So what are we doing here? 2 or 3 years ago, we started thinking about, we use a lot of algorithmic solutions and machine learning and AI for our products. We are a technology company. After all, fintech is financial technology. So, so we looked hard at what we're doing, and we said, okay, is there an opportunity from a business point of view, because we are a business, to see how we can reuse some of the tools that we have in our products, or we are thinking of incorporating in our products for other purposes. And this is where the dual use comes in AI and machine learning, because there are certain, I call them tools. I'm giving you a very personal view, by the way, of the field. So you develop the tools, and then you can use them for various purposes. And we've decided to focus on 3 or 4 areas that we think are going to be strategically good for us, and they kind of are in agreement with what we want to do also in the civil domain, not only defense. So we have computer vision as an area where we want to specialize and do interesting things. We have the whole big area of time series analysis and signal processing, and related to that, digital twins, mathematical models of systems, which is another area. The third area that we think is going to be interesting for us is that of simulation frameworks, and in particular simulations using what we call intelligent agents, which kind of relates a little bit to the other two, especially the digital twins, because they are components in big simulations. And the fourth area that we're considering at the moment is that of autonomy. And autonomy has various interpretations, but we kind of look at it in a more narrow sense, So the way we look at it has to do with the organization of autonomous vehicles of various descriptions, whether they are air or ground, sea surface or underwater, in various formations to achieve a mission. So all these can be used both in defense and in the civil domain. We are involved now with the Aegis program by the Ministry of Civil Protection, and in particular with Ernst & Young, actually. We are involved in the analysis of data that's coming out of various sensors for intelligent decisions and for situational awareness. So that's been something, one of the first steps we took towards applying those tools to something different from finance. Another thing that you mentioned very kindly is our computer vision algorithms. We decided to enter a competition that was organized by ELKAK in September, and to our surprise, we actually were co-winners together with
Sure.
It was actually Eketa.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, and and we're very pleased about that because, in a way, it gave us a little bit of public recognition about our internal efforts,
yeah,
which we're kind of keeping to ourselves up to then. Now, so this is effectively what we're thinking for now. We're thinking of tools and applications. There is another, if you like, motivation by the company, which is we want to contribute to the national cause, if we can say that, in manifold ways. So we are not ashamed to say that we're patriots. You know, we love being Greek, and we want to, support that. But we want to support it in different ways, not only in terms of technology, not only in terms of contributing and putting our own little stone to the big wall that we're building, but also in terms of providing meaningful employment to highly qualified individuals that up to now had to emigrate, like me, for example. I've left Greece when I was 18, and I came back last year.
Wow.
So I spent 43 years in UK, and I came because there was something for me to do here. I wouldn't have come otherwise. So it's very important to this brain gain that we talk about, which is an initiative by this government, and we should support it. And we should make sure that both in monetary terms, but also in intellectual terms, researchers and engineers and whoever are compensated for their efforts. We think that ELKAK was a fantastic idea, and we talked to them. They're very open. They're helping us within the context of what they're trying to do themselves. But we found that very refreshing. We rely on cooperation. We're a software company. We do not do hardware. But we would like to understand better the Greek ecosystem when it comes to defense or other areas, cooperate, and just make sure that the whole is bigger than the sum of the parts. Yeah. I think that's about it.
Thank you. So another person, Dimitrios Kottas, he also came back to Greece from the United States. He founded a company, Lambda Automata, now Delian Industries. We have great expectations from you. I said in the beginning, this is what it's all about. We want you to provide solutions to the Greek army. We want you to provide solutions for Europe, to provide solutions for NATO, scale up, and contribute to prosperity.
Thank you. My name is Dimitrios Kottas. I'm the founder at Delian Alliance Industries, which used to be called Lambda. We as a company, we like to say we are a new defense tech company. the company started from 3 repatriated expats that used to work at big technology companies abroad. Right now, that as we are scaling up the company, I'd like to say that more than 30% of the employees we have in Athens, they used to work for a significant amount of time abroad. So it's a clear form of...
Can I mention that you used to be at Palantir?
Myself, I used to be for 6 years at Apple. George, our software lead, was for like 3 years with Palantir. Andreas, our software architect, was 7 years with Facebook. So yeah, that was like, that's a part of the culture of the company. We started, in terms of technologies and core competencies of the company, we started with core competence in like complex software systems, autonomous systems, and AI. Gradually, as the company is growing, we have built strong expertise in electronic warfare, rapid manufacturing, and autonomous systems overall. We started with some, and what we are mostly proud about is that in a very short amount of time, we managed to design, prototype, test, and deploy operationally an autonomous system serving surveillance and targeting. So that is, and that's kind of like the motive, the pattern we're going to follow as a company is like delivering those new technologies at a rapid pace, either through individual components or through end-to-end turnkey solutions. Number one, around surveillance and targeting, and later on around deterrence and electronic warfare. I want to stress that there is a lot of talk around defense and what needs to change in procurement. I would say that the whole system, and the whole system is like the market, the procurement system, the companies, the culture of the companies, the way the militaries decide what to buy, what not to buy, how to develop, etc. All that system is tuned right now for peacetime. It's tuned for a totally different geopolitical era. It's tuned for like the 90s or the early 2000s. However, there are historical examples where that same system, and when I say that system, it's not just Greece. I think it's every Western country pretty much is the same on that aspect. Like, there were examples historically where that exact same system was tuned differently to operate at a much faster pace. You can look at examples like a classical, I remember like there was I was listening to some American officer criticizing, an American veteran criticizing the procurement system. And he was saying that there are bombers, like large bombers that were like designed, prototyped, tested, and mass manufactured during World War II in months. And the total time it took to start a bomber from prototype and design on paper to mass manufacturing was less in World War II than the time it may take now to have the bidding and tender process for a software system. Now, it is reasonable because we lived in peacetime, right? So the whole system was tuned for transparency over efficiency. And that was reasonable up till 2022, up till the Russian invasion in Ukraine. I believe right now we should all reflect and see how we can turn the knob, each one from its own position, towards efficiency. And that has to do with how procurement can work faster, how contract can work faster, and how, at the end of the day, how we can deliver new capabilities we see operationally in the theaters at Ukraine or the Middle East, how those capabilities can be deployed before 2030, as the agenda says.
I believe also you were successful in raising capital in Greece. How did you...
Correct. We have raised in total 3 rounds. We're going to soon announce the 3rd round, and it's going to be quite significant. That's going to provide us significant ammo and fuel to keep moving forward and further expand both in Athens and abroad. I would say right now the investors, one way or the other, they are very interested in defense. So I think raising capital, it's not the main barrier. The main barrier is how you prove you can build a sustainable business, how you can prove, and especially I would say there are two things. Number one, because you are a defense company, how you're going to be able to navigate the large sales cycle and make your company financially viable. Like most software startups, they are expected to become profitable in 2 or 3 years. Yeah. That's by no way comparable with like the defense world. And number two, which because we are in Europe one way or the other, the second barrier for investors that you need to find a way to break it or a strategy to break it to convince them is how you are going to penetrate other markets. And I think like one way, how you're going to be able, let's say, you make some sales in Greece, how you're going to make that same sale in Italy or other like allied countries from NATO and the European Union. So I would say these are the two big riddles, puzzles that you need to solve. Yeah. Like finding capital is easy. The two hard things is contracts and expanding outside your home country.
It's exactly like this. I want to make a note. We are now hosting at Demokritos the first 6 companies selected by Diana, and they get the acceleration program at the Innovation Accelerator at Demokritos, which is funded by ELKAK actually. I was amazed to see one particular company, which is a spin-off of Google, a company that has raised more than $600 million already in several rounds, and still they participate as a startup in the acceleration program exactly because they want to learn how to penetrate the procedures, how to penetrate procurement, how to access defense buyers. I would never thought, that a company of this size would still be so interested in all this.
That's why you can never have financing as a sole component of the success. You need non-financial tools together.
And right now we're doing very well with financing and big announcements from Europe, but we need more. We need more response. Now, I left Konstantinos Karantzalos, the Secretary General for Telecommunications and Posts at the Ministry of Digital Governance of Greece. I left him last to address this audience. I think his presence here at this panel is really symbolic, almost historic. There comes somebody from government, from a different ministry to speak for defense, which is not coming from the Ministry of Defense. And finally, this thing has to happen, and he is going to, I asked him to bring up the incredible opportunities coming from space. I just finished reading an unclassified NATO report. Now space by NATO is described as the wild, wild west, especially for the low orbit microsatellites. And it seems like if you just grab territory in space, today you have 9/10 of legal ownership. So it's not the wild, wild west. It's even wilder than wild, wild west. And Greece is getting ready to launch our microsatellite program. And I think this is going to be huge. It's going to be huge for civil protection, but it's going to be huge, I think, for defense.
Thank you, George. Just a couple of comments on the previous discussions. I do believe that we are not lacking funding or investments. What we may be lacking is a sort of coordination at the government level, at the EU level, where we want to go, what is our roadmap. And another aspect is also the speed of making decisions, because all the technologies, telecoms, for example, are under huge transformations. Telecoms, we have cloudification. In terms of secure connectivity, we have quantum telecoms. Post-quantum. In terms of space, we have new space. We were used to designing space systems for a couple of years, constructing them for 3-4 years, deploying them for 10 or more years. Now we have new payloads coming every 6 months. So we have to deploy them, staying on the cutting edge, on the state of the art of what we can acquire and make intelligent out of it. So you asked me to focus on space, but I think this is relevant also for other domains. I mean, autonomous robotic systems in the air, in the marine, submarine. There were colleagues mentioning before. In space, of course, the Commission is defense and space. I cannot imagine a single program that has not a dual-use flavor, a character. When we are able to acquire images less than 1 meter spatial resolution, when we can acquire more than 4 or 5 times per day thermal data, or SAR data 24/7 through clouds, etc. When we are building in the national program also radars that are able at 2,000 kilometers to spot some centimeters of debris, or a satellite that is not in the official catalog of our satellites. So all what we are doing in space, even a science program, I mean, monitoring space weather, this affects the performance of our system. So whatever we do in space is dual use by nature. And that's why, I mean, there are new companies, startups, mature industry, industries that coming from other sectors, from real estate to constructions, are coming to defense. And this is what we were pushing, because since we implementing the National Space Project, we build the momentum, I think, currently in Greece. We are able to construct end-to-end satellites, and we will have them deployed in orbit at the end of this year and 2026 also. So there is a momentum around this, and we were pushing the Commission to come up with another solution like Starlink. So we have something called IRIS², I suppose most of you know it. We will implement in Greece one of the GovSatcom hubs that will manage all this capacity. The other one will be in Germany. And this is on the telecom side. We should come up with a solution with Earth observation, because if we don't do it in Europe, then another solution from abroad will come also.
All right. So is Qualco ready to jump into these kind of opportunities, this new data, this new era for Greece?
It's a good question. I think I can't answer that now. I think we're kind of still thinking about it. We're getting close to a decision, which has to be, it has to be made by the board, it has to be unanimous. Mm-hmm. We're testing the water for now.
Your joint program with EY is pretty mature for something like this.
With EY, but yes, it's in the civil domain. So it's so that kind of gives us a little bit of impetus in that area. I think because whatever we do, we actually commit to it. What we need to do is to carefully consider all the different options that we have, and then we'll make a decision, and we'll probably put all our resources to it, and we will be a player.
Yeah, I'm sure ELKAK will. Yeah, please.
I can help. I mean, when you build a system that is able to detect a hotspot, a thermal hotspot, this, of course, can be a wildfire, but can be, I don't know, a vessel. So exactly. It's the same sort of algorithms that do the job. I mean, when you are detecting the marine environment, the sea surface, oil spills, or a kind of vessel, then this can be...
exactly. This is very tempting for us. So I think it's very compelling, but I don't want to jump the gun. We'll probably make some kind of official announcement in the next few months.
Is ELKAK ready to fuel this kind of collaboration?
It's funny because, I mean, we've been talking, I was talking, 3 years ago with Qualco for microfinance, and now we do talk about defense, so it's funny. So yes, we are ready to deploy funds on it, but okay, I mean, what we do is that we deploy funds on different TRL levels. Okay, so we use the jargon of calls, okay, which is high TRL levels from 5 to 9. We use the jargon of challenges, which is low TRL levels, like challenges that we met at Qualco, and we exploit the ecosystem. So we have the opportunity to give grants and discover, which is the main target of the momentum of the country, to discover the dual-use potential of every company. That many companies, startups, that don't know that they do have a dual-use potential, so you have to discover through challenges, and to be proactive in mapping the potential. So scalability, mass production, and innovation are the three key words for us in order to increase the footprint of Greece in defense domestic production.
Yeah. And I quickly go to Stefan. Stefan, this tuning Europe from a peacetime attitude to wartime attitude, where there's no really other war than Ukraine taking place. And still, you are exposed to EDA, to the European Defence Agency, to the European Defence Fund, and there are also the national interests of the countries involved. Do you think this is possible, and for something like this to happen fast? I mean, you have the European interests, we have the national interests. How can we bridge this kind of gaps?
Yeah, so I think a very important thing is to streamline the processes. I'm told in our startup ecosystem that it takes 400 hours to apply for an EDF grant, and that is by far too complicated. So we would like to, and we hope to streamline these processes. And on the other hand, it's a lot of community building, bringing the actors early together so that they apply jointly for that, and then have multinational consortiums there, even on a startup level.
All right. And EFA, are you ready for this year's big announcements from the EDF? Are you participating?
We're not participating heavily in EDF because some of the innovation that we have in the internal R&D, we use it strictly for the majority is used for our systems or what we develop for our clients. So just to go back to Dimitrios' point, we reached a level of maturity from a defense perspective because we not only made products, but we're able to go to the market. So now I want to say our organic growth now is being complemented by, talking to OEMs, adopting solutions, or working with a lot of innovation hubs, as we call it, startups or companies that can bring innovation so we can insert them into systems and then sell them to the market. We have that kind of maturity level, and now we're looking to do more into collaborations and acquisitions in order to expand.
One last word from the Secretary General, just one phrase, because we're running out of time.
All the industry, I think, is preparing for rearmament, safe use. So I think what I said before, we are missing is a roadmap, and this roadmap, I think, leads to autonomy. So we have to find what are the gaps, what are the dependencies, and target them, and be able to construct end-to-end systems and solutions at the cutting edge.
Well, this panel could go on for many, many hours still, but we have to stop here. Defense innovation is about security. It's also about prosperity. Thank you very, very much for your attention.